So every once in a while when a baseball stadium is built, there are sometimes corrections that need to be made relatively quickly into the stadium's life. Given that stadiums take years to build, and conditions change, and public reception is not known until after the stadium opens, corrections to stadiums have been made, despite a stadium being recently built. And in this video we're going to take a look at corrections that were made to baseball stadiums quickly. So first we're going to look at Comerica Park, where the Tigers have played since 2000. For the first 4 seasons of this stadium's life, its bullpens were in right field, but after only these first 4 seasons, it was determined that parts of Comerica Park's field were just too deep for hitters. So, in what was still a pretty new ballpark, the bullpens were basically moved out of the stands and onto the field. Quality seating that didn't exist before would be built over the old bullpens, and in left field it would be easier to get a home run. In addition to this, as was at the Tigers' previous home, Tiger Stadium, these first 4 seasons at Comerica had an on-field flagpole, which would then be blocked off by the new bullpens. According to the Tigers president at the time, John McHale, they tried too hard to make it like Tiger Stadium when it came to dimensions, and really it just didn't land. Next we have Progressive Field, which opened as Jacobs Field in 1994. In the decades before this stadium opened, attendance for the then Cleveland Indians was generally really poor, which was no doubt a reflection of having a bad team and a bad stadium put together. However, after Jacobs Field opened, both of these issues were gone, and beginning in 1995, every single game was selling out. So as a response, just 3 years into the stadium's life, just under 500 seats would be added in 2 sections to the bleachers, both being on the edges. Now, after the crowd started thinning out in 2002 and 2003, a space in center field that had long been used for temporary seating because demand was so high would be converted into a bar in 2004, since the demand had now subsided, essentially showing how crowds could control the structure of a ballpark, even if that ballpark was still in its early years. Next we have Citi Field, which opened in 2009 for the New York Mets, and similar to Comerica Park, major modifications would be made to the home run walls quickly at this stadium. After only its first 3 seasons, several of the walls were brought in. In fact, an exclusive section was added, with the wall being moved forward in left field, and with this just over 100 people could be seated in the form of a party deck. In addition, after just 1 season as a ballpark, the entire bullpen was redone so as to have both teams' bullpens facing the field, as before the visitors' bullpen did not have a full view of the field. Next we have a fairly minor one with Target Field, which opened in 2010. After just 1 year as a stadium, for 2011, an additional scoreboard would be added so all within the stadium would be able to get a normal view of a scoreboard. Along with this, the Twins Tower sign, which was not present the first year of the stadium's existence, would be added as well. And finally we have Lone Depot Park, which opened as Marlins Park in 2012, and like other stadiums on this list, modifications to the outfield wall would be made after just a few seasons. However, a more significant and notable change that was made just 8 years into the ballpark's life would be that of the home run sculpture in center field. Despite $2.5 million being spent on this structure, it would be moved outside in favor of a new bar. The reason simply being a change in team ownership and the preferences of new ownership, ending an era of what was probably one of the most bizarre features to ever grace a stadium. Sometimes stadiums get it mostly right the first time, and others, due to various reasons, have to be corrected. But in the end, until a stadium actually opens, one just can't truly know. Thank you for watching.